It's a great start to the trading week for the equity markets here in India. That festive cheer is continuing at the start of this week after the holiday on Dussehra. And by the way, wish all of you a very, very happy festive season. Now, let's take a closer look at where the benchmarks are currently. You have the Nifty 50 that's trading with gains of about 0.6% at record highs. 18,460 is the ticker right now, and you might just see the Nifty 50 making that break towards 18,500 in the near term. And the broader markets are actually doing incredibly well. They're doing better than the benchmarks. You have the small cap index that's gaining about 0.7% at this juncture, and the mid cap index that's gaining over 1% at this point. Now, take a closer look and zoom in a little bit onto what is performing in trade today. You'll see quite a few of the metal counters are buzzing. It's a comeback for quite a few of these counters. Right on top of the screen, you have Hindalco that's gaining over 5% at this point. Tata Motors continues its outperformance. It's in fact the largest, or rather the large cap counter with the most volume traded as of the first hour or so of trade this morning. It's gaining about 4% or so at this point. ONGC up as much as 3.6%. Now, this is a factor that has played out in the recent past. Oil prices have been on the rise, and you have Brent crude that has gone up to as much as $85.8 to the barrel. It's heading upwards, and there's no sign of cooling off right now. Among the others, you have Titan among the consumer-facing counters that is doing incredibly well, also part of the Tata Group, which has been an outperformer in the recent past. JSW Steel, Tata Steel, IOC, Infosys, Maruti Suzuki, some of the other counters that are doing incredibly well. Among the losers, you have HCL Tech that's down about 1.8% or so, Asian Paints down 1.4%, Dr. Reddy's, Cipla, IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Auto. But if I were to look at the constituents, or rather the sectoral performers, almost all of the sectors apart from pharma are doing incredibly well. You have, in fact, even the banking pack on the back of HDFC Banks results over the weekend, and those results were actually quite good, in line with expectations. Net interest income grew by 12% and PAT grew by over 17%. Remember, expectations were for around 15%, I think, on a consolidated basis. And you had asset quality slippage that was less than what was seen in the previous quarter, in the first quarter, and that bodes well for the bank and for the other private sector banks as well. So what are the factors that I'm looking at over the course of this week? You have markets at record highs, and that's clearly something to bear in mind, in that how much of momentum would you see from this point on remains to be seen. India VIX is elevated today above 17, so that's certainly something to bear in mind. You could see consolidation in the near term. Crude oil prices, I mentioned this is definitely something to watch out for, along with the other commodities, of course, but crude oil on the boil, above $85 to the barrel for Brent right now. And finally, earnings front and center today. Of course, you have Ultratech Cement, L&T Infotech, Tata Coffee, Root Mobile, and Craftsman Automation to watch out for. That's more or less how it's looking right now. Do stay tuned for a lot of news and updates over the course of the day on ET Now.